I think that the volatility attracts all the capital into the marketplace. And so the volatility makes it the most interesting thing in the financial universe. It also generates massive yield and massive returns for traders. And that attracts capital.
Welcome to Dream Richer. Bitcoin's volatility is no big secret. Perhaps this could be one of the major reasons why governments and large sectors are wary of Bitcoin. Since its introduction in a 2008 white paper, Bitcoin has generated controversy and news. Critics point to the cryptocurrency's role in criminal activities and the absence of legal recognition as proof that it is a so-called rat poison. In its current form, Bitcoin presents three challenges to government authority. Firstly, it cannot be regulated. Also, it is used by criminals, and it can help citizens circumvent capital controls. Until the time that Bitcoin's ecosystem matures, it will continue to be viewed with distrust by established authorities. Today, however, the billionaire man Michael Saylor unravels the deep issue within the government itself. As he argues, the government is designed in a way to self-destruct. Would this happen in the next 2 years? Maybe 5 years? We don't know. If you find the video helpful, then don't forget to subscribe. Let's get right into it.
Policymakers are well-intentioned, but generally all government policy is inflammatory and inflationary. So what I mean by that is when you have a policy pursuing supply chain independence, if you have an energy policy, if you have a labor policy, if you have a trade policy, if you have any kind of foreign policy, a domestic policy, a manufacturing policy, a medical policy, every one of these policies interferes with the free market and generally prevents some rational actor from doing it in a cheaper, more efficient way. So when you layer them on top of each other, they all have to be paid for. If you want to shut down the entire economy for a year, you have to pay for it, right? If you want to fight a war, you have to pay for it. If you don't want to use oil or natural gas, you have to pay for it. The government couldn't really pay for its policies and its wars with taxes. We didn't pay for World War I with tax. We didn't pay for World War II with tax. We didn't pay for Vietnam with tax. In fact, when you trace this, what you realize is the government never pays for all of its policies with tax.
Because it's too painful to ask to raise the taxes to truly, transparently pay for the things you're doing with taxes, with taxpayer money. Because they feel the pain.
That's one interpretation, or it's just too transparent. People understood the true cost
of war. They wouldn't want to go to war.
If you were told that you would lose 95% of your assets, and 90% of everything you will be taken from you, you might reprioritize your thought about a given policy, and you might not vote for that politician.
There are several reasons why Bitcoin has such a volatile price history. Especially for unexperienced traders, it's very important to first understand how to deal with crypto volatility and invest with their risk appetite in mind, like most commodities, assets, investments, or other products. Bitcoin's price depends heavily on supply and demand. As an asset adopted quickly by investors and traders, speculation about price movements plays a critical part in Bitcoin's value at any given moment. Media outlets, influencers, opinionated industry, so-called gurus, and well-known cryptocurrency fans also create investor concerns, leading to price fluctuations.
What I see is a bunch of fragmentation of applications. For example, the Russian payment app is not going to work in Ukraine.
Right.
The Ukraine payment app is not going to work in Russia. The U.S. payment apps won't work either of those places, as far as I know. So in Argentina, their payment app may not work in certain parts of Africa. So what you have is different local economies where people spin up their own applications compliant with their own local laws, or war zones not compliant, but just spinning up.
So first, are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
I'm certain I'm not. Actually, I think the provenance is really important. And if I were to look at the highlighted points, I think having a founder that was anonymous or pseudonymous is important. I think the founder disappearing is also important. I think that the fact that the Satoshi coins never moved is also important. I think the lack of an initial coin offering is also important. I think the lack of a corporate sponsor is important. I think the fact that it traded for 15 months with no commercial value was also important. I think that the simplicity of the protocol is very important. I think that the outcome of the block size wars is very important. And all of those things add up to common property. They're all indicators of a digital property as opposed to security. If there was a Satoshi sitting on top of $50 billion worth of Bitcoin, I don't think it would cripple Bitcoin as property, but I think it would undermine its digital property. And if I wanted to undermine a crypto asset network, I would do the opposite of all those things. I would launch one myself. I would sell 25% or 50% to the general public. I would keep some of the initial, I would pre-mine some stuff or early mine it, and I would keep an influence on it. Those are all the opposite of what you would do in order to create common property.
It's clear from Michael Saylor's explanation that Bitcoin is the future. Even during times of war and distress, Bitcoin is argued to be a digital gold and a store of cash. For example, crypto trading in Russia has soared as the ruble was battered by Western sanctions, which aim to squeeze Russia's economy and sever it from the global financial system. Trading volumes between the ruble and major cryptocurrencies hit 15.3 billion rubles on Monday, which is a threefold jump from a week earlier. These figures suggest that people are scrambling to convert their savings to crypto in Russia. Hence, Bitcoin and crypto could indeed be a safe haven. Do you agree? Let us know in comments below. To learn more about the latest crypto news, watch these videos here.